Morning, everyone. Please bear with us. We seem to be having some internet problems here at downtown Kidstream City, but we're trying to sort this now. So you might not hear me, you might not be listening to me, but it doesn't matter anyway. We're going to see what we can do. I'll keep chatting. We've got a packed program for you this morning. Yeah, people are having problems getting in by the looks of it. But just bear with us. Just bear with us. I have to stop streaming and restart it. Back on. Let's see if we're. I don't know if we're on. We'll just wait and see.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm still lagging.
Wait, is it nearly 7 seconds?
We're getting there. I think George has fixed it. Here we go. I can see my face.
You're all on there because you're connected to the Wi-Fi still.
Can you hear us, everybody? Hopefully that's all done and dusted. Welcome to Kidstream. So we're going to have to rush through some stuff. Yeah, I can see myself over here. We could be okay. Give us a thumbs up in the box if you can see and hear everything is fine. Yes, yes, yes. Right. We have a packed program this morning. Now, last week I was a bit stupid. I was a bit silly.
Crazy fool!
Because I said I wasn't going to get wet and I wasn't going to get a custard pie, but ended up eating baby food instead. But today, I'm getting none of those. I've made sure that the script doesn't involve me having any problems. We have a friend back who hasn't been on a Sunday for a long time. Who is it? Yes, hello, little Lottie. Little Lottie's back for some laughs. We could do with some laughs. Right, Matt and Sammy Lewin first, then my amico in some really strange nickname. We don't know who it is. All is in, Tatenda's in, Adassa's in, Yasmin's in, Mandy's in. I've seen Betty as well. Sophie, Heather and Deck, and Arlene are in. Mike and Mary are in as well. I've seen it all, and everybody seems to be okay. Thumbs up. Dion and Bernaya are in as well. And Joy, Alicia and Lillian are in. And there we go. If it's your birthday last week or this week, we know about Dex. We've got something special a bit later on for Dex. If it's your birthday last week or the week coming, put us a comment in the chat bar and we'll do a very special happy birthday for you a bit later on. Right, let's find out what we're learning today. It's about Joshua. So we saw Joshua on Friday. Mike told us a story of Joshua. We've got another Joshua story today told by Mike. And it's about following God's will. So we'll be following God's will. And it's all about instructions today. Instructions that may seem really strange, but are really important. So that's what we're doing today. Kapower phrase time. Dion's in, you're late. Divine in, should I say, not Dion. I can't read. Divine, you're in, good to see you. You are late. Happy birthday, Pastor Dexter Arling. Don't put, not yet, just wait. We're doing the birthday in a minute. Right, let's have a look at our Kapower phrase today. We are really having internet issues in our house. Lord, tell me your kapow, show me your kapow. Psalm 25, verse kapow. So, Lord, tell me your kapow. Show me how to kapow. Psalm 25, verse kapow. Now, the verse at the end, the final kapow, is a number between 1 and 10. Between 1 and 10. So you need to put in the chat bar the first two words plus a number. Lord, tell me your kapow. Show me your, well, it's actually kapows. Show me how to kapow. Psalm 25, verse kapow. Get those stuff into the chat bar. And we will see who can get those words a bit later on. It's time for a wacky race.
And now here they are, the most daredevil group of daffy drivers to ever whirl their wheels in the wacky races.
Right, wacky races time. Two strange characters. They have a race. You've just got to tell us which one wins. And our races today are these. It's Skeletor versus Blitzen. It's Skeletor versus Blitzen. So if you think it's Skeletor, A. If you think it's Blitzen, B. That's Skeletor, A. Blitzen, B. Skeletor, A. Blitzen, B. If you put those in the chat bar. My Miko thinks it's A. Diana and Benaya are doing the memory verse. Yes, it is a bit laggy. T. I'm sorry. Skeletor from Joel. Jasmine says Skeletor. T says Skeletor. Divine says Skeletor. Mandy says Skeletor. Denine and Benaya say Skeletor. Betty says Skeletor. Lucy thinks it's B. It's Blitzen. Aulia thinks it's Blitzen. My Miko, A, of course. Okay, see if you're wrong. Matt and Sam, B. Arlene, B, which is Blitzen. Joy, Lillian, Alicia, A and B. You did the video, you might know the answer. Right, let's see who wins, Skeletor or Blitzen. It's time for the wacky race. So our winner was A, it was Skeletor. So if you'd put Skeletor in, it was close, but Skeletor did one. So all those with A, well done. Give yourselves a round of applause. You did really well indeed. More wacky races to come. It's time for our ultimate superhero. Right, it's time to see who's our ultimate superhero. We've had two people play this at the moment. This is your chance to top our leaderboard. At the moment, it's Aulia. She's got 234 points. Betty had a bad day on Friday. She's got 103. So, chance, we've still got 3 spaces on that leaderboard to fill up. And then we'll be knocking people off that leaderboard every week, hopefully. So, to find out who's going to play today, I've got a question. It's a question where the answer is a number, and whoever gets closest to that number will play the ultimate superhero later on. Now, the question today is, how high is the Eiffel Tower in France? It's there, right? In feet. So that's about a foot. How many feet is the Eiffel Tower? Start putting those into the chat bar. Whoever is the closest will play the ultimate hero to try and knock Aulia off the top. 234 points is a good score. So you're going to have to work really hard. So get your guesses into there. My Miko first, as usual, and we'll see who is the closest. And whoever the closest will attempt to beat Aulia. Right, we haven't seen her for a bit. Who's back? I'll tell you who's back. Hello, it's me, little Lottie. It is me, little Lottie. Right, time for little Lottie's laughs.
Go. Who's there? Hatch! Hatchoo!
People are Googling the answer. That's not in the spirit of this game. No Googling here. We're going to make the questions a bit harder that you can't find in Google. No Googling. We know who's Googled, and you're disqualified. No Googling for the ultimate superhero. This isn't a game of Googling. This is a game of guesswork. 2 G's, not Google, guesswork. We might get a catchphrase out of that. Right, it's been a stressful day. I've decided I need a break. And if you have a break, you need a Kit Kat. So just excuse me while I have a chocolate bar. Anybody know how you eat one of these? There's no instructions on it.
Here you are. There's some instructions.
I've got some instructions how to eat my Kit Kat. They should put it on the wrapper, you know, how to eat a Kit Kat. Right, it says, first thing to do, take off the red wrapper.
Don't eat it.
I don't eat that, apparently. Then it says, take your nail to split the foil.
Not that kind of nail.
Well, a fingernail.
Yes.
Right, there we go. And then it says, snap the Kit Kat in half. Well, it's already happened. Snapped. Does that automatically snap in half? Or do I have to? It says I have to do it here. Right, put one finger in your mouth.
Not with that finger.
Oh, and then it says, phew. Look at you. Oh, I've got to swallow next. Instructions are really important. We're going to learn a bit more about instructions in a minute. In fact, we're going to learn it now. It's time for our Heroes of the Bible. It's time for our second part, while I eat my Kit Kat. Now I know how to do it. Second part of Joshua. This is the famous story from Joshua, and Mike is doing our story again today.
Instructions are important. My granddaughter Martha had a Lego model for her birthday. In the box were the instructions. And he simply said, you take piece number 1 and you join it to piece number 2. And you take piece number 3 and you join it to piece number 2. Just imagine if I'd have ignored those instructions and just joined the first piece I could find to piece number 10. Instructions are to be followed. Our memory verse says this, tell me how to live, God. We are asking God to give us instructions. And sometimes those instructions seem strange, but they work. Our story today is about strange instructions that worked. You remember Caleb and Joshua from the last story that we had. Those spies who were not afraid but believed God would help them, but were laughed at by all the other spies. Now, years later, God's people are actually in the promised land, and Joshua is now the leader. Remember the fear that the people had when the spies said, oh, there's giants and great walls and... Well, Joshua and his people come to the first city called Jericho. And it had great thick walls that were high, and the people of Jericho looked down from the walls at Joshua's army and thought, no problem, we are safe. Joshua had no idea how he could destroy the city, but God had a plan. So Joshua asked him. The plan seemed so silly, but Joshua trusted God, and he called the people together. We need 7 trumpets, he said. Put your walking shoes on, and you need a loud voice. Each day, they walked around the walls, and on the 7th day, 7 times. And Joshua said, when you hear the blast of the trumpets, everyone must shout, and the walls will fall. I wonder if Joshua had been dreaming because that's what it sounded like. The plan seemed so ridiculous. But God had said it. And it's no good asking God to help you and not to do it. And so the story goes that on the first day, they marched with the ark, which represented God's presence, around the walls. They did it quietly. They marched with the trumpets at the side of the priests. Now the people of Jericho couldn't believe their eyes. On the second day and on the third day, they did the same. And by this time there was a noisy audience around the walls. What were these people thinking they were doing? On the fourth day and the fifth day and the sixth day, they did the same. This will never work, I'm sure some of them thought. But God had said it, so we must do it. On the seventh day, 6 times they walked around the walls, but nothing happened. They were tired. And Joshua said, look, I told you 7 times, remember the drill? Quietly round the walls, and when you hear the trumpet blast, you shout. And so on the 7th time, they did that. And as they walked around the walls, the people jeered at them and laughed at them. But when they'd finished, suddenly there was a deafening trumpet blast, and it was the army, the signal. Joshua commanded, now shout. And in a moment, as a great noise filled the air, dust covered the whole army. As they wiped the dust off their eyes, they realised God's plan had worked. The walls were flat. The army on the walls were gone. And God's people ran into the city collecting all the gold and the silver. You know, it was a good job they listened to God. They had never heard a plan like that before. But it worked. Now they had food, they had donkeys, they had treasures. And they never fought for them. God did it all. That plan that seemed so ridiculous proved to be the best. You know, God has a plan for each one of us. Even when we're at school, all we need to do is ask him, just like Joshua. Of course, the greatest plan of all is that we ask him to be our best friend. And then all the pieces will fit together.
Right, thank you, Mike. That was really good. We'll learn a bit about that a bit later on. Now, for the ultimate superhero, we've not done the Googling ones. We've done the person who's guessed closest, and the actual height of the Eiffel Tower is 1,063 feet. And the closest on a guess was Lillian, who said 1,003 feet. So Lillian has won. So we'll need Lillian to give us 4 numbers between 1 and 12 into the chat bar. And Lillian is going to try and be our ultimate superhero a bit later on. It's now time for the kapow phrase. Right. Let's have a look at the kapow phrase, then we'll tell you who's been the closest. I don't think we got it perfect, but it's good enough. So let's see what the answer is. Lord, tell me your ways, show me how to live. Psalm 25, verse 4. And the closest was Hadassah, who got Lord, tell me your ways and show me how to live. So well done, and you got 4 as well. So you're close enough. So well done, Hadassah. It is, Lord, tell me your ways, show me how to live. Psalm 25, verse 4. That's Lord, tell me your ways, show me how to live. Psalm 25, verse 4. It's time for competitions time. Right, competition time. Remember all your entries to there, kids@excelchurch.org.uk. So our challenge this week is we want you to create something by following instructions. So that could be doing a recipe and baking a cake or cooking something, but find something where you've got instructions and you follow those instructions to achieve something. So it could be following a recipe or building a Lego model or creating a picture or a craft, but something that you've created following instructions. Because remember, Joshua followed some really strange instructions from God and it worked. So we want you to do something, showing you making something via some instructions. Take some pictures, take a video and send it in to kids@excelchurch.org.uk. Last week we asked you to grow a crest head, and these are our entries. Roll BT. I've only just got it. That one's Deck. That's why the crest hasn't grown on his head, because he's bald. Very good. That's very good. But we have to have a winner or winners because there's two lots there. So our winner this week is, just because their crest grew more than any other ones, it's Dion and Benaya. There we go. Right, we've seen no other birthdays in the chat bar, so there is only one birthday. That is our own Pastor Deck, or you'd know him on the chat as Deck Dud. He can't comment today, but never mind, it's his birthday today. So we've done a very special tune for him, a very special birthday message, especially for Pastor Deck.
When I get older, losing my head, many years from now, will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Sorry, Deck, pressed the wrong button actually, sorry, but it's not far off. Well, you're half there, but you're nearly 64. Right, here's a special birthday for Deck. Happy birthday, Deck.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
And enough of that. So have a good day today, Deck. Back in church today with Peoples tonight. Hey, they're excited. I'm booked in 7:15. Lovely. Right, it's time to hear what we've learned today.
Let's have a look at what we've learnt today. God gave Joshua a promise. The Israelites had crossed the Jordan River and were in the land of Canaan, the land God had promised to Abraham 500 years earlier. Jericho was the first city the Israelites had to conquer. It looked impossible with its high, strong walls, but God promised Joshua that Jericho would be given to them, but they had to do it God's way. God told Joshua the plan. God gave Joshua the exact instructions he wanted the Israelites to follow. God's plan seemed very strange, but they trusted in him and followed exactly what God told them to do. God's plan was perfect. The walls fell down and Jericho was defeated with not one Israelite being killed. In fact, the plan was so perfect that Rahab and her family were unhurt and were rescued just like God promised. When we follow God's ways, all things work out for the best, so we can trust in him.
Let's pray, shall we? Thank you, God, that you gave Joshua and the Israelites a perfect plan. Thank you that they trusted and obeyed you. Help us to do the same and to remember that your ways are the best. Amen. Curious video. LWB ? We'll have to wait and see. Mary has said that deck is 57. I know it's 57. I didn't. I thought it was 56 actually, or probably 58. I don't know which one. But it's close to 64, and they haven't got a song called When I'm 57. Right. So Lillian is playing the ultimate superhero. She's given us her 4 numbers. So let's have a look at our game board. 234 is the one to win. I've got my calculator this week to make sure we can add it up right. So the first number that Lillian chose was number 12. Click on the thing again. We're having problems. Oh dear. Right, we've got it. Number 12, 110, that's a good score. That's Captain America. Well done. Number 3, that's Catwoman again, or Batwoman. That's 83, that's a good score. Number 5, Robin Girl, doing well. And then the final one is number 7, 103, which means Lillian's got a score of 359, which means Lillian is our ultimate superhero for now. So she will go to the top of our leaderboard. Well done indeed. Yes, we can lose that screen now. That's really good. So Lillian, 359. You take position 1. Aulia goes down to number 2. And Betty is number 3. 2 more spaces on that leaderboard to fill, which we will fill over from Friday and next Sunday, and then we'll start knocking people off. But Lillian, well done, our ultimate superhero. First time ever, I've finished a little bit earlier. Never done that before, but that's really good. So we are back on Friday with Dan Joy. I think it's Dan's turn this week at 6:30. We will be back next Sunday at 11 o'clock. So, tatty bye.